to share today's show. I want you to share today's show. It means so much. It expands the reach of the show every single morning. When you share it on your networks with your friends and family members, it means everything. And there's numerous reasons why. Number one, I mean, listen, way before COVID-19 underscored the usefulness, the resourcefulness of the digital landscape. We were here with the Nathan Ivey Show for the last 3-4 years almost. Is it 4 years? Yeah, maybe 4 years now. And I think that, since then, we've proven why independent media, or how independent media can play a real role in the greater Cincinnati area and beyond. So it's my pleasure to come with you. Plus, as a morning show, we get a chance to talk about things first here in the Cincinnati area in a very local way. Okay, this show is and always has been about the greater Cincinnati area. We'll continue to do that. Of course, we talk about everything. This morning, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, folks. We got a lot of folks to talk about, but I want a lot of things to talk about. But I wanted to get your thoughts initially. Just think about this, and I want you to tell me what you think about the NFAC. Do you believe that they will help or hurt the movement? I want to get your thoughts this morning. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you missed it over the weekend, I don't know where the hell you've been. Maybe you decide to unplug. I do it myself from time to time. I understand and I get it, but I'll give you all the details. I've got audio and video for you this morning. We'll talk about everything. Let me throw the number out one more time, 513-873-7134. Of course, I want to remind you that we have a petition that's currently circulating. This petition is connected to something very real and tangible that I think can help to protect black families, black families here in the greater Cincinnati area. And that is to stop the weaponization of our police. If people decide to use our police 911 as their own personal police force, then I'm urging City Council to put some real teeth behind it, both criminal and civil penalties. Cincinnati is a part of that movement, even though mainstream media doesn't want to recognize it. I guess it's coming from me. But make sure you sign that petition. I'm going to leave it in the comment section as well of today's broadcast, so you know exactly where to go and how to be a part of it. Again, good morning to you, 513-873-7134. Talking with you live and direct first in the greater Cincinnati area. I want to get your thoughts about the FNAC. Do you think that they will help or hurt the movement? Perhaps you actually went to Louisville. I had at least one or two of my Facebook friends who I think was actually there. I want to get your perspective about everything that happened. And what does that mean now moving forward? Is this a one and done, like the blackout thing? I mean, what does this mean exactly? And can you forecast a future? What does this mean? Again, I'll throw my number out, 513-873-7134. Hey, good morning to you, family. There it is up on the screen. What's up, Chopper family on Facebook? How was your weekend? My weekend was great. It was excellent. Got the workout in every single day. Spent some time with the family. And generally speaking, I had a very productive weekend. So hopefully you did as well. Again, 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, we're live from the greater Cincinnati area. Let me go straight to the choppers and say good morning. Pat writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Pat. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the choppers. Good morning to you. Jordan's in the house. Black Family Library. She writes, hello, choppers. Good morning. Good morning to you, Jordan. If you're not hip to what she's doing, go on Facebook and check that out. Make sure you do that. Hold on a second here. I'm getting a message. Appreciate you. I do have some updates on the tactical training that we're going to start on September the 5th. So keep listening, and within the hour, I'll give you the details on that and on how you can be a part of it if you're interested. This is for people that already have a CCW. This is for people that already, you may have a weapon, and I'll give you the details on the cost and what you need to know. And this week, we're going to start circulating the information so we can be a part of it. We've got a bare minimum. I don't want to tell you what that number is, but we've got a minimum number of people that we want to make sure that we bring out there for the folks that ride or die. So it's worth their time and our time as well. And I think we'll be able to do that. DeWine's perfunctory mandates in the house. He writes, good morning, choppers. My granny told if I listened to Nathan Ivey, she'd buy me a sheepskin coach. So if I could win a few investments, I can get the matching hat. Now that'll be dope. That's hilarious. Okay. A little bit of 50 Cent right there. Yeah, I remember the line. Mason Muller writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers, hashtag multiple names, meaning multiple names. Hashtag Polly wanna pastor. Will you leave Jeff Pastor alone, man? Let him get his poly on. Hashtag disrespecting the dead is disrespecting the living. Hashtag red dot door dash. What? You still doing that door dash, man? I mean, do you, brother? Do you? 513-873-7134. I see Charles is on Facebook. He writes Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Hey, Grand Risings to you, Charles. Thank you for being here. Again, think about it. We'll get into it in just a second. I got some news or some stories to start your morning, but I want you to think about your feelings about the FNAC and what you saw over the weekend. Do you believe that they will help or hurt the movement? That is my question for you. Will they help or hurt the movement? What's the movement? Well, I think the time right now is all about equity, policy, and tangibles. That should be the conversations that we're having when we're going to the chop shop. I'm sorry, when we're going to, I'm in the chop shop, when we're going to and interacting with politicians, not symbols. All right. Now, the symbols lead to equity, policy, and tangibles. I'm all with it. But a symbol, just for the sake of a symbol, a waste of damn time. A waste of time this morning. But let's get into it, shall we? I want to take you over to Minnesota, where a white couple, wore a Nazi flag on their face mask. And they went to their local Walmart store. They've been banned since this happened. I'm not sure if you saw this story or not, but this couple has now been banned from Walmart after wearing a Nazi flag as a face mask at one of the company's Minnesota stores. You couldn't make this up if you wanted to. I couldn't make this up. This is real life. And there's actually, there was a couple there, another white couple there, that actually caught the whole thing on video. They caught the whole thing on video and they put it out there and for everybody to see. And you won't believe the reason why this white couple decided to wear Nazi flags as face masks. You won't believe it. They did it because they were trying to protest the possible election of Joe Biden. They said in the video, at least the white woman, the woman involved said that if Joe Biden is elected president, then we're all going to be socialist. Now, I don't have a doctorate or a master's degree or any kind of degree in history, but I know enough to know that the Nazis were fascist, not necessarily socialist. Again, this story underscores a couple things. Number one, it underscores just how incredibly miseducated Americans are about not just American history, but world history. We see this a lot where people keep conflating socialism with Nazism or socialism with fascism. They're two different things, folks. Two completely different things. And this is the way you want to protest? So when they started videotaping them, the couple actually gave them, the middle finger salute. This is Trump's people. This is Trump's America. This is Trump's audience right here. They actually believe that, and they must believe this, that if Joe Biden is elected, then we'll have socialism, even though we've got a lot of different elements, socialist elements in the American system. I mean, it just goes to show. I'm pissed off at Walmart because banning these individuals is not enough. Banning these folks is not enough. They need to be barred from making any purchases from the jump. I watched the video and there was a young, cashier. It looks like he's like a high school student or something, just trying to make some money during COVID-19. He probably isn't in a position to really stand up to something like this. But what I would have loved to have seen would be a scene in which, they're being escorted out by police, hopefully dragged out, kicking and screaming. It's funny because over the weekend, I saw another video of a brother who apparently had purchased a bicycle for his child. But one of the attendants called the police because they thought he was suspicious somehow. And he got dragged out with his hands in handcuffs the whole time was protesting that he was innocent. Meanwhile, white folks, and again, we're talking about two different cities, I understand. You got white folks that can put Nazi flags around their faces, and they're allowed to make their purchase. They're allowed to just make the purchase and leave with no real incident. I'm glad to see that Walmart banned them, but banning them isn't enough. You need to prevent them from stepping into the store. It's just amazing to me that if you don't have any shoes on, you can't step into the store. But you can have a racist symbol across your face. A symbol of a nation and of a time that tried to exterminate millions and did exterminate, kill, and murdered millions of women and children. And that's okay. But if you purchase a bicycle the legal way with a receipt and somebody calls the police on you, you'll be escorted out in handcuffs. I mean, this is America. What can you say? What can you say? Welcome to America. And again, Walmart has adopted this policy where it's a face mask policy. I think it's to take it further than that, where the policy is you got to have a face mask on, but if you don't, they're still going to give you service. Then what's the point? What's the point? I don't understand what the point is. Absolutely crazy to me. This couple, Rafaela Mueller and Benjamin Rush, they filmed the whole situation and they challenged them. I'm glad to see there was some folks that actually challenged them. And the guy in the video, I'll play it for you in a second. He's like, man, I can't believe this is actually happening. You know, this is America. I can believe it. I can believe it 100%. Because, you know, and maybe I'm just more sensitive because of my melanin. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just more sensitive to it. But I'm not surprised to see this one bit. Not one bit. And you're going to see more of this unless these various, how do you walk into the store with the Nazi flag around your face and nobody says anything? The manager isn't alerted. Like, what's the use of having a manager of a store if people can walk in with racist flags and racist symbols on their faces? I'm telling you, that couple is lucky. They're lucky that they didn't have the wrong, or maybe it's the right kind of folks that came across them and went straight into their jawbone. It's utterly ridiculous. They're very lucky. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. I want you to hear this audio.
You're sick. Yeah, you're sick. You have an illness. You can't be American and wear that mask. You cannot. We literally had a war about this.
I kill Nazis. My grandfather killed.
You're wearing a swastika.
If you vote for Biden, you're going to be in Nazi Germany. That's what it's going to be like.
And she said, and you voted for Biden.
The Nazi flag right now.
Yeah, because socialism is going to happen here in America.
You're sick.
Yeah, you saw
We
it.
literally had a fucking war about this. The Nazis lost.
For good reason.
Please, don't wear those masks. You cannot call yourself an American.
I'm not a Nazi.
Then why are you wearing the fucking mask?
Because I'm trying to tell you.
You're sick.
If
Turn off
you
the
vote
Fox
for
News
Biden,
and
this
wake
is what
up.
we're going to have. Socialism.
Take off this mask right now.
That mask is bullshit. Fuck you.
It's so incredibly offensive. You're not an American if you wear that mask. We literally had a war about this.
My apologies on the not editing it. I know it was some extreme language there. I am sensitive to the children, but I wanted you to get a sense of what went down. I'm glad to see there were some people there that challenged them. I'm happy to see that, because too many of these things happen and nobody says anything. They just act like they don't see it. Nobody wants to get involved. I'm glad. And again, you got black folks that go to Walmart and don't do anything wrong. Make legal purchase. They end up getting dragged out or carried out But you can put a Nazi flag in Minnesota. This happened in Minnesota, in this particular Walmart. Now, Minnesota has a mandate. They started a new mandate, a mask mandate. This was the first day of it in Minnesota. And I'm not sure if you could hear it, but when they were challenged, the couple said, you talk about false equivalencies. The man said, you literally have a Nazi mask on. And the woman says, and you're going to vote for Joe Biden, and it's going to lead to socialism. This is how Trump got in office. And these are the people who voted for Trump. And they're probably voting in midterms. Yeah, those are probably midterm voters. They're going to vote in every election, local election, and let their wacky, distorted view of history and current politics be amplified through their vote. We got to be prepared to do the exact same thing, family. I mean, to all the smart, dumb cats out there that don't believe in voting, when you don't vote, they do. Let me show you again. When you don't vote, they do. They do. When you're like, I'm going to sit this out, they're not sitting it out. I just want to wake you up this morning and let you know that's what we're fighting against right there. This kind of ignorance. Like, how exactly did this idea evolve? And was this her? She seemed to be doing all the talking. Her husband's like, you know what? Let me put these groceries in a bag and get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. But I guess, things are different in Minnesota. Could you imagine that happening in Cincinnati? Would you let it go down like that? 513-873-7134. What would you do? You talk about reporting somebody because they're not wearing a mask. What if they are wearing a mask and that's the mask that they're wearing? I blame Walmart. That's who I blame. Like I said, you can walk through Walmart and do nothing wrong as a person of color. And they'll stop you and ask you for receipts and look in your bag and all. But you can walk in with that on your face? What is the world coming to? 513-873-7134. Raised in the house, she writes Grand Risings all. Jerica writes, hola, beautiful black people and the others too. I'm reading your comments, Jerica. Casey writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Sending positive, powerful vibrations to everyone. I've been up since 4 a.m. and I've already gotten terrific water workout. Happy, healthy week, fam. Early risers rule the world. You got to get up early. That's why I love being in the morning with all the early risers. All the most successful people are getting up early. I love it. 4 a.m., you beat me this morning. Beautiful. Got the workout in already? Best time in the day to get a workout in. You'll feel great. Miss D writes greetings. Tracy writes hi. Good morning, Miss D. Good morning, Tracy. Good to see both of you. Brian's in the house inside the chop shop. He writes good morning. Cassandra writes happy Monday, Cyber Wakanda. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Brenda writes happy Monday. Tanika writes good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Jared's in the house. He writes good morning, hashtag Team NI. Good to see everybody. Clue is also on Spreaker. He writes good. Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good to see you. Tanika writes, hey, Tracy, it was good to see you too. I understand. So was I. LOL. What's up? Y'all was out over the weekend? Y'all went to the virtual Cincinnati Music Fest? I'm sorry. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Had other things going on. Virtual music is cool. I like in person if I'm going to do it. But yeah, I'm sure you got your entertainment on over the weekend. Kelly writes, good morning. CG Doug writes, good morning, Choppers. I'll tell you one thing that I love. Now that baseball season is back, right? I love the WNBA, the NBA is back. What do you think about that new NBA format? I kind of like it. I kind of dig it, actually. But I love when I see these professional athletes taking a knee. And I love the attitude that the professional team owners are taking as well. And the attitude is mind your business. They made a big deal out of taking a knee with Colin Kaepernick back in 2016 like it was some big deal. It was never a big deal. They should have let the players just do what they want to do. It'd have been no problems whatsoever. I love the whole taking a knee. Athletes showing they care something more than about stats and $1 million contracts. I mean, it's harmless to the game whatsoever. It doesn't bother the game whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? If your favorite baseball team has players taking a knee at the beginning of the game, it doesn't harm the game whatsoever. Nothing. It don't harm it at all. And the fact that these professional owners made a big deal out of it, even has the Cincinnati Reds that took a knee. I love it. Why not? And for all the people out there trying to make it seem like Colin Kaepernick didn't have an impact, here we are 4 years later. Professional players are still using the symbolism that he displayed. It is what it is. Now, what does that mean deeper than that? I don't know. But I'm just saying, the NFL owners, the MLB owners never should have made a big deal about it. They never should have. And then there's Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka is a Super Bowl winning NFL coach. He was a coach of the Chicago Bears. And for whatever reason, he gets a lot of respect in NFL circles, but maybe not so much. And TMZ caught up with him over the weekend and asked him what he thought about, players kneeling and things like that. And essentially, he said some old Trump stuff. He said, basically, get the hell out of his country. That's what he said. Because he says, if you can't respect our national anthem, get the hell out of the country. That's the way I feel, of course. I'm old fashioned, so I'm only going to say what I feel. Number one, people need to stop dressing up their racism in this whole old fashioned talk. I'm just Archie Bunker. That's number one. And he's also the chairman of something called the X League, which is a women's tackle football league, right? Previously known as the Legends Football League. And I don't see what the problem is. Number one, how does taking a knee disrespect the national anthem? I would love for somebody to explain that to me. Maybe not in this audience. I think we're kind of like-minded when it comes to that. I don't see it. I don't understand it. But it just goes to show that there's a level of just not being able to get through the thick heads of a lot of our fellow Americans that's going on here. He just don't get it. He feels like it's a slap in the face to the red, white, and blue. Okay. But doesn't the red, white, and blue, that's the flag and everything that, they say Americana is supposed to be. Isn't that all about your First Amendment rights? Stop me when I'm wrong here. I mean, what's the point of all this if you don't have the right to freedom of speech? And like it or not like it, taking a knee is a form of speech, period. Protecting free speech is easy when you agree with it, but it's necessary when you don't. That's the whole point of it. Some of these folks, man, we'll never get through to them. It is what it is. You can put Mike Ditka on the list as well. Mike Ditka needs to get the hell out of here. The hell is he talking about? Ridiculous. 513-873-7134. And then, of course, there's Tom Cotton. Arizona Senator Tom Cotton is walking back his statement. He says that it's fake news and people took it the wrong way. And essentially it has everything to do with this 1619 project. Are you aware of this? You should be aware of this. The 1619 project. Are you aware of it? And essentially the 1619 project is an attempt to balance the revisionist history that has been miseducating Americans for a long time. And now there are multiple school districts, including in Chicago and Washington, D.C., that have already updated their history curricula to incorporate material from the 1619 project, which argues that America's defining year was 1619, the year of the first slave ship's arrival in the New World, and not 1776. Do you agree with that? Just think about it for a second. Do you agree with that? Again, the 1619 project argues that America's defining year was 1619, right? And puts more of an emphasis on everything that the revisionist history books that are being, taught to our children right now, or our children are being taught out of right now, is completely wrong and basically incomplete. Now, don't we as smart individuals already kind of know that it's incomplete? We already kind of know that. So why is there such a resistance from people when it comes to, the real history of America? I don't get it. And Tom Cotton has gone a step further than that. And he's gone so far now that he's got a bill that he introduced a bill last Thursday that proposes denying federal funds to schools that incorporate the so-called 1619 project into its teaching curricula. Do you agree with that? 513-873-7134. In a statement put out about the project, he said that it was racially divisive, revisionist account of history that denies the noble principles of freedom and equality on which our nation was founded. But of course, we're all smart individuals, and we know that freedom and equality is not what this nation was founded upon. Why is Tom Cotton and white people like Tom Cotton so afraid of the real history of the country? I don't get it. I don't get it. Quote, not a single cent of federal funding should go to indoctrinate young Americans with this left-wing garbage. You mean the more complete history of America? Is that what you mean? So, among other things, Tom Cotton implied, and he tried to be clever about it. I'll tell you what he tried to do. But he implied that slavery was a necessary evil for the formation of what became America. Like we had to, by we, I mean that very, very loosely, talking about the some collective history of America. Like we had to learn our lesson with the enslavement of brown skinned and dark skinned people. But now we're better because of it. It was necessary evil. And when he got called out on Twitter, he walked it back. He called it, he tried to walk it back, but even in walking it back, he pretty much doubled down on it. So he tried to walk it back on Twitter, went on Fox News and called it fake news and said that, no, I didn't say that. What I was saying is that the founders of the country said that. You mean the slave owners? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you didn't say it. You're just using the quotes of slave owners who said it. Yeah, that's different, Tom. That's completely different. That's completely different. But you know, it's funny, man. Some folks look at it that way. Like, you know, some people probably look at the death of George Floyd as a necessary evil. I don't look at it that way. There's some folks walking around like, you know, it was bad that happened, but you know what? We're so much better because of it. It's amazing how black folks always got to take the burden for the lesson. You notice that? We got to take the burden for the lesson. It's always on our backs. It's real easy when it's somebody else taking the burden or taking the lashes or being enslaved. And then these people, man, who have this kind of, and again, this man is a U.S. senator who's on the screen right now. That's Tom Cotton. He's a U.S. senator. I think he's like a military vet as well. Fought over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he used that to get a perch as a senator in Arizona, and it worked. There's a lot of folks that believe that, like, oh, well, it's not that bad. It ain't that bad. It's never that bad when it's somebody else, right? It's like, oh, the fire's not that bad as long as it doesn't burn down your house. It's just your neighbor. It's like, you know what? Could have been worse. What? Stop me when I'm wrong. 513-873-7134. Brenda writes, happy Monday. Yes, it is. Happy Monday to you. Dale writes, what up, Nate? Everything, brother. Everything is good. Anthony writes, morning, Chop Shop. Hey, good morning to you, Anthony. Tanya writes, happy Monday, all. Happy Monday to you. Good to see you. Where we at here? Let me see. Philosophy writes, Grand Risings, Choppers. I was in the Natty for the weekend, but I'm back in Colorado rapping my city. Really? In the Natty for a little bit, huh? In and out. Billy writes, morning, team and I, and the Choppers, magnificent Monday. Yes, it is. Absolutely. C. Smith's in the house. Always good to see you. She writes, top of the morning, everyone. Happy Monday, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. So I want to leave you with a little bit of news. There's just some stories to start your morning off. We'll get back to the conversation. I want you to think about this. My question for you for the first hour is pretty simple. Did you get a chance to see what happened in Louisville? And what is your opinion? Specifically, do you think that the FNAC, they are not effing around? Do you think they will help or hurt the movement for equity, policy, and tangibles that is going on around the country right now? I want you to think about that and give me your opinion on the other side. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, and we'll be right back.
Business Report. I'm Elisa Parenti. While pharmaceutical companies are racing to come up with a vaccine for the coronavirus, some businesses are focused on gene therapy. They're tackling sickle cell disease. Dow Jones reports CRISPR Therapeutics, Vertex Pharma, Bluebird Bio, and others are pushing for a treatment to be introduced by 2022. Under legislation being considered in Congress, a new panel would be formed to study systemic issues impacting black men within the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Bloomberg government reports that panel would recommend policy changes. Difficult days are still in store for the nation's renters. A survey by Apartment List finds 1/3 of U.S. renters failed to make their full July payment. Unless Congress extends supplemental unemployment benefits, analysts say, eviction notices could surge. One industry group says as many as 12 million renters could be evicted over the next 4 months. And that's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Elisa Parenti.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Hello, I'm Charlie Winburn with Renew Community Church. It seems like the coronavirus came from nowhere. I have some good news that if you never quit and don't give up, out of nowhere, the way will be made for you and your family. Take your life back. Join Renew Community Church each Sunday, 11:45 a.m. on Facebook Live, facebook.com/CincyRenew. Rewrite your life while at home. Join Renew Community Church for the 12-week Rewrite.me series each Sunday on Facebook Live. Renew your life at home. Go to SundayConnectCircle.org for a free 12-week, 200-page PDF. Take your power back. Rewrite your life. Join Renew Community Church each Sunday at 11:45 a.m. on Facebook Live, facebook.com/CINCI-Renew. I am Charlie Winburn, and remember, out of nowhere, the way will be made for you and your family.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock where you invest to make money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps students like me go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. I could be the first college graduate in my family. the first district attorney for my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there will be a second and a third. This can really be the start of something. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hey, good morning, family. Please take a second and share this show with your network, with your friends. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, independent black media from the Cincinnati area. I think there's a role for corporate media, corporate black voices, and also independent black voices around the country, especially in the Cincinnati area. Good morning to you. Talking about numerous things. Did you get a chance to pay attention to what happened in Louisville over the weekend? The FNAC, which is a black militia group, showed up in force. I can't tell you how many people were there in total, but I saw a lot. And their leader, a brother named Grandmaster, he spoke. And I'm sure many of you seen the video. If you were on Facebook over the weekend, I know you saw it. I know you saw it if you were on Facebook over the weekend. I want to get your thoughts about it. You think that their efforts will help or hurt the movement? Because this is nationwide. This is nationwide. Everybody was watching what was going down. Everybody saw what was going down. Hey, good morning to you. Nate Ivey in the air chair. You got me up until 10 a.m. this morning. The show starts at 8. We go about 2 hours every single day. Sometimes we go a little over. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Good morning. If you're into independent voices, make sure you go to our Facebook page, Send Digital Media. Check out the Donnie B Show. Is It Just Me? And good morning to you. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, that's my number right there. It's a free call anywhere in the country and a few places outside the country as well. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth and don't call in on speaker. Other than that, it's all good. Those are the two cardinal sins right there. Talking to some dumb ish and on a speakerphone. It's just never going to work. I don't care what show you're talking about. Before we get deep into it, I want to say I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but there's a Cincinnati-based venture capital fund that wants to invest $50 million in black-owned business. Have you heard about this? You haven't. I'm sure you'll hear about it soon. I've been reading about it. First time I read about it was in Black Enterprise. Maybe it was about a week or so ago. But I know locally over the weekend they were getting some publicity as well. I think it's an excellent idea. Yeah, I think it's an excellent idea. I wish them the best. Yes. Yeah, we need more of that, not less of this. Candace Matthews Bracking and Brian Bracking teamed up with other Cincinnati business leaders to help build the city as a startup ecosystem to attract new businesses, right? And they started Lightship Capital. You heard about this? I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. Perhaps this could be a resource for you if you haven't heard about it before. Lightship Capital is a Cincinnati-based venture capital fund managed by a team of black entrepreneurs and investors with a mission to help underrepresented black businesses in the Midwest. And they've created a $50 million fund for investments. From what I've read, they're already working with at least one black-owned business to try to bring that to fruition. I'll say it again to all my entrepreneurs out there. I mean, you know, black entrepreneurs have some of the best ideas ever. But unfortunately, they become undercapitalized, so they can't compete when it comes to capitalization. So all those efforts to bring more money to fund those ideas, to me, is helping to close the racial wealth gap in Cincinnati, especially. That's one way of dealing with it, is by helping the entrepreneur class. So shout out to Lightship Capital. I'm going to reach out to see if I can get an interview with them to bring them on the show, just to pick their brains and get more details. But I want to put that out there. Just some news, some stories to get your morning started before we start going to the phone lines and getting heavy into your chat this morning. Good morning to you. Somebody writes, I guess black people don't ride bikes. Something happened in Dixon Deerfield Township with a black man about a bike he purchased. Huh. That's interesting. I haven't heard about this. Send me a link, Freen. Send me a link and I'll check it out. Send me a link. I want to check that out. That reminds me of something I saw that happened in Pennsylvania at a Walmart. Happened about 4 or 5 days ago. People are talking about protesting that particular Walmart. Brother goes in there and buys a bicycle for his child. One of the Karens and or Darrens that worked there, I guess it was, a cashier or whatever, an attendant, a manager or whatever. They called the police because they suspected he was stealing something. And what happened is the brother got arrested. He's being charged now with resisting arrest and things like that. I watched a video of it. And listen, I understand being in that situation, but what I would give advice to my folks is that there's a way you got to conduct yourself in this America, even when you're wrong, even when you right, should I say. You could be dead right, absolutely right. You paid for it. But when the boys show up, there's a way you got to conduct yourself so that you come out on top. Okay. And I watched the video. And I could see some errors, in the video. The brother was very upset. He's trying to get help from people. But what I'm here to tell you is, and ain't nobody going to help you. When you're in a situation like that, especially when the police are involved, nobody's going to step in. Nobody's going to come and say, oh, you know what? This is wrong. Don't expect that in the new America. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's very rare when you see these Karen and Darren videos, or you see a situation like that where you see like some great bystander come in and they talk with the police and the police are like, oh, okay, well, we understand. They take the cuffs off. That's not going to happen. It don't happen. So resisting arrest, even when you're right, leads to charges. That's what it leads to. You got to play it cool. You got to play it cool. I'll say it again. You got to be prepared to go to jail to preserve your dignity. Don't start begging and pleading. I got the receipt. Then you see the receipt. Nobody cares at that point. And the vast majority of people are not going to intercede when they see that the police are involved. Think about George Floyd. People stood around while they watched George Floyd get murdered and didn't do anything. Good people. We saw the videos afterward of the people that was watching. They was traumatized and asking themselves what they could have did differently. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to jump in and help you. Even if you're absolutely right and the cops can be using racial epithets, it don't really matter. It's rules of engagement. Right, wrong, or whatever, you're going to jail. You're going to have to get processed. They're going to put you in the back of the police car for maybe 35, 45 minutes while they work it all out and talk it all out. That is what's going to happen. If you start kicking and screaming and yelling and fussing and reaching for the taser, as was the alleged situation with this particular brother, allegedly, should I say, yeah, here it is on New York Post. Black man arrested after paying for bike at Walmart. Look at this. You see that? Yeah, you can see it. Black man arrested after paying for bike at Walmart, sparking protests. Pay for the bicycle. We talking about black fathers. He's being a black father. Buying a bicycle. What's more Americana than that? But they don't give a damn about you being a good father. They don't give a damn about you buying that for your kid's birthday. So what? It don't matter. You can kick and scream. You can cry. You can beg. You can dance a little ditty. Your ass is still going to the back of the police cruiser. And you can do it one or two ways. You can do it in a way in which you got a case afterward. Close your mouth. Don't say nothing. Say it to him once. And then sit there and bite your tongue, and you're going to have to wait the process out. Welcome to This is America. This is America for us. It is what it is. But see, on one side, you got a case. The other side, you making your case harder. Which is it? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, it don't matter if you going to a funeral afterward. Your mama just died. You are going to have to deal with that right then with the police officers. It is what it is. I wish it was differently, but it's not. This is what it is. You're going to have to deal with this. It is what it is, family. And I watched the video. Matter of fact, I play it for you. I think you can hear it on the microphone real quick. He was kicking and screaming and fussing and arguing and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I get it. Yeah, you wrong. You dead wrong. I get it. You dead wrong. They're dead wrong, should I say. But you're about to get processed. And if you start reaching for the taser and resisting arrest, which, how you gonna fight that in court? And they got video you are resisting arrest. All you're doing is making your case more difficult to argue. Let me see if I can play this for you. They're not going to stop, bro. They're doing it because you're black and somebody called and said you stole something. And now they're doing what police officers do. Matter of fact, that might even be look at this. They took a dude to the ground. Look at this. Who is he talking to, bro? I feel for you. It's difficult for me to watch that. I think about myself. I'm raising a little boy who's getting taller every single day. He's going to be taller than his father. Tall black men are more of a threat. But who are you yelling out to? There is no superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Black Panther is fictional. Who you screaming at? It don't matter whether you're right or wrong. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with the police, if they ask for the receipt, give them the receipt. You're dealing with the police, they say they want to arrest you, they're going to arrest you. Let them arrest you. And keep your mouth closed. Right? And go through the process. You might be uncomfortable. You might have to go down to wherever the holding situation is and go through that system. You're going to have to deal with all kind of derelicts and the kind of undesirables that are routinely in jails. And you got to deal with all that process. And then when you get out, you go get yourself a lawyer and you got yourself a case. That's how you deal with it. I mean, I watched it, man. I fell for the brother. I got a receipt. This is wrong. Why are you doing this? Because this is America. That's why they're doing it. That's why. I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, it's simple. Let me see. Black man. Let me see if I can find this real quick. That's why they're doing it. Because this is America. And as I understand it, he had a receipt. But your receipt don't mean anything. People that don't mean nothing. That don't mean jack. You and your receipt is now in the back of the police cruiser right now. That's what your receipt means. And from my experience, that's the way it is in all walks of life. Like, you could be in a situation, you could be like in a more professional situation, and nobody's going to come to your help. They're going to watch it like, oh, man. And they're going to stand back like, oh, I'm not a part of this. I'm not. Just like with George Floyd. If people sit around and watch Officer Chauvin, is that his name, kill this man with his knee on his neck and did nothing, what you think they're going to do in Walmart and you talking about a receipt and they trying to arrest you? They ain't going to do nothing. Stop begging and pleading. Stop begging and pleading. Just say, oh, we going? Am I being detained? Yes. Am I under arrest? Yes. That's it. That's it. And then go through the process and move on with your life. C. Smith writes, wow, America 2020, right? Yeah. I'm tired of Minnesota. Right. I feel you, C. Smith. Philosophy writes, a lot of people don't understand how blacks feel about the Confederate flag. No, they do not. They do not. And one of those people is the president, arguing about the name of these military bases that are named after Confederate generals. He just American history. That's not that's the bad part of American history. We should be focused on the good part. Derek writes, that's why I'm scared he will be reelected. He might be if smart dumb cats don't vote. I'm saying do it for the internet. You know what I'm saying? Do it for the culture. But find a reason to get out there. That flag should be banned here, just like it is in Germany. Correct, Clarence. I'm with you 1,000% on that. Cleopatra Jones writes, rise and shine, choppers and royal family. Oh, same to you. Good morning. Rachel writes, good morning, all. Good morning to you. Chrissy's in the house. She writes 100% facts. C. Smith writes, let's see if we see results in Louisville in 4 weeks. Say what you will about Grandmaster Jay, his speech was spot on, and I see that nobody messed with them. Yeah, I thought that I'll give you my opinion about Grandmaster Jay real quick. Okay, and my opinion about the brother is that by any means necessary. That's my general opinion, period. You know what I'm saying? If you know, black folks been begging and pleading, please give us policy equity intangibles. Please stop doing this. And please be fair to us. Please stop redlining our banks. Please stop killing us. Black folks been begging on our bellies for 4 decades. And look what it's gotten us. There's some individuals that only respect displays of power. And that was quite a display of power I saw in Louisville. That was a display of power for the earth right there. Black folks with guns and they're organized. I mean, the only thing I would say to Brother Grandmaster Jay is watch your back. Because COINTELPRO is alive and well. Now, what I heard is that, and what was widely reported is that there was an incident where somebody accidentally discharged their weapon. The first thing I thought, and again, I got that cynical kind of brain, was COINTELPRO. They've been infiltrated. And now you got some of these agents that want to try to destroy it from within by accidentally discharging their weapons and accidentally shooting people. That brings criticism like, oh, how organized can they be? They ain't got their ish together, right? That's how the game is. Somebody better tell. I'm sure he already knows. He's a very smart brother. But do we need more displays of black power of this nature? What do you think? 513-873-7134. What's next? Do we need more displays of black power like we saw? What made that so powerful was not just the guns. It was the organization. The status quo ain't afraid of you Negroes with a couple guns out here shooting each other and running for guns and snatching and grabbing Jordans. That's nothing. But when black folks with guns start organizing, wait a minute. They're all on the same beat. They're all listening to centralized hierarchy. Wait a minute. We got a problem here. Ooh, we got a problem. So I had no problem with it whatsoever. You see these white militias, and without having specific names, we've seen them before. They out here, little kids with AR-14s on the gun range. That's all my country, 'tis of the Americana Second Amendment. But when black folks do it, it's like, wait a minute, maybe we should change the laws. We'll see what happens. You know, it's been a joke for a long time that if you really want to change gun laws in America, all we got to do is start organizing black people under the existing laws, and the status quo and the powers that be and the paranoid white masses will change the laws then. We'll see what happens. I think these kind of displays of black power are only impactful if the people in those particular locales do something about it. Because Grandmaster Jay and them are going to come and leave. It's up to the brothers and sisters in Louisville to pick up on that and leverage it. If they don't leverage it, it don't mean nothing. They came and when it was a spectacle, everybody got clicks and views. We have something to watch on Saturday, and that's it. But if people leverage these kind of things locally, then it can have some real impact. That's just my humble opinion about it. 513-873-7134. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't paranoid. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think these people were criminals. I mean, these are just righteous American citizens. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a very timely and perhaps even sophisticated way of putting pressure on the system. And hold on here. I got the video of the brother. I want to play what he actually said, you know, when he was there. I thought it made a lot of sense, and it'll give people more of a sense of, you know, where they're coming from rather than trying to be paranoid or call it something that it's really not. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
And let them know in so uncertain terms, it's not just the people of Louisville that you owe an explanation to. You owe an explanation to black people, period. Because this is not an isolated incident. Every time something happens, y'all want to talk about Ahmaud Arbery. Then y'all want to talk about George Floyd. It's always somebody else. No, this is one problem. So So this was the problem that we felt needed to be addressed. And we needed to address it because you ain't saying nothing. Don't take this the wrong way, but these canned responses that were written by a speechwriter, that's not keeping it real with us, as we say. We grown folks, we can handle the truth. So our goal was to come down and do the second part, because I told them, if I don't feel like you telling me the truth, or if you tell me something that's not going to satisfy what these people want, I'm going to bring my people in, just to emphasize that we really want the truth. And that's what today was. I'm delivering on my part of the bargain. Now, what they told me is what I told them. I hope they didn't lie to me. I really don't. Because we can get to a resolution on this. And so somebody can have justice for Breonna. That's all. Then all that other stuff is extra. It's extra. So that was the goal. Now, how I felt it went great. The place is not on fire. You're not running and shit. Okay? As y'all bleep that out. The cameraman still got his camera. Okay? Ain't nobody took your car. We're not going door to door killing people. Okay? It's not chaos in the land like everybody doom and gloom like they forecast because black people armed themselves. None of that happened. My people performed professionally. They were militant.
You made it clear that you want to see some action. It's been 4 months since Breonna Taylor was killed. How much time after today is it yet again not acceptable that we're not getting any answers?
Okay, so I need everybody to stop suffering from what we call quarantine amnesia. You see, everybody talks like the quarantine didn't happen. Like it's been business as usual for 4 months. It has not. The whole world got terrified, ran in the house and closed the door, scared to breathe and cough. Nobody gave a damn about the judicial system. Everybody act like that didn't happen. We didn't come out of our cave until like the end of May sometime. Then we got to business. So really it hasn't been 4 months. It's been June and July. So even though the murder happened back then, we only were able to deal with it once we realized that we wasn't going to drop dead from COVID-19.
Talk a little bit about the turnout today. Happy with the turnout, the amount of people, and
I stood down a greater portion of our group because once we did the walkthrough last night, we realized that if we put 5,000 people in here, they wouldn't all fit. You'd have people all the way back here, and there's no controlling what would have happened. So we brought the group number down, and they performed admirably. So I'm very satisfied. Very satisfied.
You said when you spoke to Cameron, did he tell you that it will take 4 additional months to recreate the scene for where Taylor was killed?
He said it would take 4 to 6 months additional from the time he received the case. And he received the case last week. And I told him that was unacceptable.
And also, too, did you tell him that, the 4-week deadline, that how we want, the investigation basically completed within the next 4 weeks?
Yes.
And what was his response?
He says as soon as I receive the case, I'll give it the emphasis that it deserves. And from everything that I've seen them doing, they busting their ass. I will say, I've watched. They busting their ass to get to the bottom. They've got so many things to reconstruct. That, for instance, the police report is blank. Like, I saw it, it's blank. Like, name nothing. Not redacted, blank. So now we got to go back and figure out what happened. We got to talk to some people.
So you're listening to the NFAC leader, Grandmaster Jay, in an interview that he did over the weekend. I want to get your thoughts about it. I mean, do you think that these kind of displays of black power will help or hurt the movement? Again, I'm just looking for your opinion. It's your opinion that matters. 513-873-7134 this morning. Let me see. Essence writes, Grand Risings, Choppers. Good morning to you. Rachel writes, the owners made a big deal about taking a knee because it shows their racism. Exactly. It does. But that was 4 years ago. Now it seems like these professional team owners are bringing a different attitude to it. I never understood. They made it bigger than what it really was. The NFL made it a bigger deal than it really was. If the NFL had just chilled on it, let Colin do his little thing, it would have been over with. It would have been over with. And it would have been whatever it was going to be. They blew it up into a big resistance. You know what I'm saying? It made it far worse than it really had to be, in my opinion. And so when I see Cincinnati Reds or WNBA players, hell, take a knee, they walked out during the national anthem. Props to them. You know, we know women got backbone in some ways more than men, especially modern day men, these estrogenic modern day men. I loved it. Let them do what they do. But let me go to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nathan. What's going on? This Poppy Rich.
What's up, man?
Podcast.
Hey, what up?
Man, good, man. Not much. I've been wanting to call in, man. So I'm glad I get a chance to speak with you.
Absolutely, man. Now, what's the first name again?
My first name is Jason.
Jason. Okay. Good morning, Jason.
Yeah. How you doing, man? You were saying how the FAC, NFAC. I don't really know. I've never really talked to the man, but I've watched what they do, and I just don't know. I mean, I think it was, it was a joke. Now, how many people are laughing at it? Oh, they shot themselves. Oh, are they organized? Are they supposed to? Or it should be. It's just I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if it's going to really help us.
Right. That's
unless
fair.
people are going to continue to, are people going to continue to follow that movement? Otherwise, like you said, it's just going to be like, okay, that was nice, but what else?
Mm-hmm.
How strong is it really going to be? Is it going to really bring the change that they're looking for? Are they going to just put a sticker on it and say, okay, yeah, we're looking into it, guys. We've seen your strength, we've seen your power, but we're going to look into it. And then another year goes by. Are we going to get some results?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, man, I think that they're creating something that the people in Louisville and around the country need to turn into leverage. It depends to me on what the people in that particular locale, that city, do with it. Did they sit back and think that the FNAC or Grandmaster Jay is going to run it all and then ain't nothing's going to happen? But if they get active, get organized, maybe start their own, and I'm not sure they've already done this, but start their own sort of affiliate group of the FNAC in Louisville, if they stay vocal, stay in the face of the status quo, if they leverage it, they might be able to do something. If they sit back like, oh, well, let's wait till Grandmaster Jay calls us, ain't nothing going to happen.
Yeah. Like I said, we just got to continue. If that's what you want, if that's what we want to do as a people, I'm cool with that. And like you said, I mean, you gotta be aware now, because now it's a big deal. Now they're watching you differently. Should we be worrying about that? How strong are you going to be if people aren't going to attach themselves to this movement and really do something with it?
Yeah. I think that it was an accidental discharge. I think those things happen. I mean, not to play it down. It'd been much worse if somebody got shot and killed, but things happen. I don't necessarily think that that's, in my opinion, I don't hold that up against them like, oh, they're not organized.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
To me, I see what they're doing, and I see that, and I understand. There's been plenty of accidental discharges. There has been. That's not new, but I just want to see it develop into something, and I hope that it continues. Again, I would love to talk to Grandmaster Jay. And I listened to a lot of his. I listened to the speech a little bit yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you feel about that going further? How do you think that's? Do you think? I mean, you personally.
What's your question again, Jason?
I was saying, how do you feel about this movement with them, and how it could affect maybe, hopefully, some change? Because like we've seen already that people are protesting, and then there's still people dying. There's people hanging from trees, apparently. I just read an article earlier. A person was hanging from a tree, or not hanging from somebody's garage, or their white friend. It's a girl.
Yeah, it was a female, right? I thought it was like a college kind of situation. I don't remember all the details, but right. I do remember that. I wonder if it's going to be another suicide, like black people hanging themselves as a form of suicide. I don't know. That seems real suspect to me, but
very suspect. I don't know. I mean, I want us to be strong and be powerful as a people. But I mean, again, there was an incident here in Cincinnati last night with kids shooting each other down the bank. Mm-hmm. So it's like, half the people are screaming this, and then still half the people are just living wild and reckless. I would say that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jason, thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate the time.
Yeah. Let's stay close, man. It's Jason right there. Appreciate him. If you were just trying to call in, call me right back. I'll put you straight on 513-873-7134. Yeah, I mean, you see these memes out there like, if Black lives matter, then why are Black people killing each other? Which is a fair question. Kinda. It's kind of a fair question. Like, no doubt about it, the Black community has to turn internally, right, in order to get to where we're trying to get to. Like, it's two struggles here. Like, one struggle is dealing with the status quo. The other struggle is dealing with the whole family, right? And right now, there's so much more attention on the struggles that we've had in terms of our white counterparts. But internally, as a family, we got a long ways to go in terms with our own family members. But we'll get to it. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, brother. Who am I speaking with?
This is David Shabazz, man.
Hey, what's up, David? Welcome, man.
I'm winning. How you doing, bro?
Doing well. I love to hear that. I love to hear about Black people winning, man. I love that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All day. I wanted to answer the question of whether or not we need to see more displays of Black power as seen in Louisville.
Right.
I want to address two things. I want to answer that and say yes, absolutely, as T.I. would say, indubitably, all the time, as much as possible, because our adversaries, they don't respect or really respond well enough to, how can I say? Because that was a peaceful demonstration down there, but it was an armed peaceful demonstration, an armed and organized peaceful demonstration, as opposed to, for example, hands up, don't shoot. Not to throw any shade to anybody's efforts, but like that wasn't hard enough. But when you show a predator that you can defend yourself, or that you're willing to defend yourself, then you get a totally different response and a totally different respect from it. So absolutely, we need to see that as many days out of the week, if possible, But and I want to answer, or rather respond to the accidental misfire that occurred. I want to get this straight, because I was standing about 20 feet away when it happened, because I joined the formation myself. That happened during a weapons inspection. What occurred was Grandmaster Jay made it publicly known the qualifications and the requirements for anybody who wanted to join the formation before coming down there. He went on YouTube and I believe Instagram and ran down the qualifications and the necessities for joining the formation. And when we went down there, we all signed a waiver that first said, if anything happens to you during this demonstration, this waiver is basically indicating that you willingly join this formation, and if you happen to hurt anybody else on your own volition, that you can't put that on the NFAC. We all had to sign that safety disclosure waiver. And then the second part of the process before joining the formation was a weapons inspection. The person whose weapon discharged accidentally, they weren't even a part of the formation yet. So I just want to make that absolutely clear that that's not on the NFAC. That was somebody trying to qualify to get into the formation. So they hadn't even been processed yet.
Right.
Well, what had happened was nobody was directly hit either. It was a shotgun that had gone off, and it was facing towards the ground as it should have been, but it wasn't secured and it wasn't cleared during the check, and the shot hit the ground, ricocheted, hit another brother non-fatally in his chest, and then another and a sister was hitting her leg, but she didn't realize it until later. But nobody was fatally injured. Thank the Most High for that. And other than that, it was a wonderful turnout. Wonderful turnout. But I just wanted to clear the air on that so nobody is saying, oh, the NFAC is unorganized and they shooting themselves. No, that's not the NFAC. That was somebody who made an error while trying to qualify for the NFAC.
I appreciate the clarification. Is there anything else that you saw that was sort of put out there or misunderstood in the media?
Not that I've heard. Nope. Not that I've heard. And another thing, like a lot of people refer to it as a protest. It's not a protest. It's a formation. So I just want to be that clear. Like, I appreciate it. A formation is when a leader or commander calls a militia or army all together for the dissemination of information. A protest is, Black Lives Matter. Again, no shade, but that's the difference. Black Lives Matter isn't really armed, and it's not like military body the way the NFAC is, or the way the new Black Panther Party is, or the way the Black Riders are. And they were all present as well. The Crips and Bloods was in the building too. Hebrew Israelites was in the building too. A couple people from the nation was in the building too. Formerly active members of the nation was there. It was pretty much everybody. And a couple Christians was out there. Everybody was in the building.
So what do you think moving forward should be the next move? Was that talked about? Like, what's the next move?
Well, something that you pointed out earlier about the people of Louisville capitalizing on that and using it as leverage. Grandmaster Jay has actually stuck around to show the people how to implement community policing as well, so they can keep the momentum going down there.
Okay. Hey, David, I appreciate the insight, man. I really do. Thanks for the call.
Sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on, brother.
Yeah, most def. I appreciate that. And kind of clearing it up. Like I said, you are the media. I've been saying it for years. Social media is the most powerful form of media in this world. And they can't keep up with you. They can't keep up with you. You know what I'm saying? Fox, your corporate media in general cannot keep up with men and women on the streets reporting from their own perspective. So I appreciate that. We got another call here, 513-873-7134. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Nathan? It's Jason again. I had to call back, man. I just thought of something.
Okay.
Listen to the last call. Did you see the other military group that was down there, or militia that was down there?
I did see.
It was led by a lady.
What, you asked me what the name of it was?
Yeah. Did you see that? What was that about?
I don't have the details, man. I wish you would have got in before David. Perhaps he could have gave us some insight because he was actually down there. He just ran down the names of some groups that were there as well.
Okay, so I just missed that part there. Yeah, I just kind of heard him, and I thought about it. Man, wow, there was a couple other militia groups down there, and it was like they were saying they weren't, trying to have any problems really, but they were there to help to back the police in case they needed or they didn't have enough people. That's what I heard.
Okay, yeah, you're right about that. Let me look it up during my next break and see what I can find.
All right, cool.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, if anybody's got the answer to his question, I'll put up on the screen. Appreciate those brothers. 513-873-7134. Do we need more displays of Black power of this nature? And what happens next? Here in Cincinnati, I remember like 10, 15, maybe it's 15 years ago, man. I'm not sure when it was. I know it was over 10 years ago. Bill Cosby, back when he was still Bill Cosby and not Pill Cosby, Pill, pun intended. And he came to the city and he was talking about what needs to happen in the Black community. Then he left, didn't leave a number, didn't leave a resources, didn't have a fund. And Cincinnati Negroes at that time had no idea what to do. He was like floundering around like, what? What do we do now? Right? And nothing really happened substantial. So I'm glad to hear that Grandmaster Jay is interacting with people in Louisville. And who knows? Could we see something like that in Cincinnati? Hopefully we don't have to, because that means it's something like a brother or sister lost their life like Breonna Taylor. Hopefully we don't need that. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, Nate?
Hey, good morning.
This is Brian.
Hey, what's up, Brian? What's up?
Hey,
Good morning to you.
Nothing much. Hey, good morning to you too, man. It's a good morning.
Yes, it is.
I want to throw out a opinion that's not necessarily going to be popular among everybody, but if you hear me out, those listening, I'm trying to give a few little markings in the ground that we can keep track of what's happening.
Okay.
So, first of all, I agree. The media, the mainstream media, will vilify any black people who are doing anything to push forward our demands. And those who know me, not everybody does clearly, but I'm definitely a supporter of the Second Amendment. And I actually am part of a club here that practices that. And I plan to be with you in September, for this tactical stuff that you're organizing, or at least part of organizing. So I just wanted to get it out there to make it clear that I carry mine, and me and the people I roll with are not ones to roll on. But I support a lot of the individual groups that began to affiliate with the NFAC. I know some of them. I know some of their groups. I know some of them as individuals. The brother who just called in, I don't know him, but that's an example of somebody who is moving into motion to try to get justice and to try to show the true power that we have as a people. Now, I believe that there's a problem with Jay. I have had several run-ins with Jay. And as we organize ourselves, because this is an affiliation of groups get excited about the idea, and the confidence that we gain, the self-confidence that we gain, the fear that we start to lose when we see things like this are important. And I support all that. And many groups have affiliated. It's a loose affiliation. But these groups affiliate with these forces, and then they all come out, and it looks bigger. But if you look closely at the interview that Jay did with the media, there's a lot of red flags. You talk about infiltration. You talk about how you build an organization that is hard to infiltrate. You got to assume that there's going to be infiltrators in any organization that's moving forward. But if you have a completely top-down structure, which they do, and if you have a leader that centers themselves, and you can see the ego already in that interview about what he did and so on and so forth, and what he is and his people. Like, you just got to listen closely to some of those little things that are showing you the type of person this person is, that is becoming the de facto leader of all these different armed groups of brothers and sisters who are affiliated. Those who know his past know that this, and people are capable of change. So this is not people shouldn't be condemned for all time for how they were at one point. But I'm just saying that real recognizes real. And if you watch that interview, not the speech, you watch the interview and you real, you can see through some of the things he's saying. Like, for example, you militant. You leave aside all the F-bombs, which is not how he talks. I know because I've talked to him multiple times, but you throw all these F-bombs out, it's tough talk. You got these brothers and sisters willing to put their lives on the line, and you talking like, I'm going to get results because we got these guns and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the media says, well, hold up, they've been holding off on these decisions. They've been doing this. Then you see him start to revert back and moonwalk, talking about, oh, well, this is COVID, and this hasn't been 4 months. It's really been 2 months, and wait till I start doing my thing, and they're working their asses off. Like, for real? We're talking about the same state. Now, all of a sudden, you soft-talking what the state is doing. So I just want to make this other point. And I'm throwing these things out there for people to think about. I ain't trying to make ultimate decisions because, like I said, people can change. A movement can decide that they can extricate somebody and put in their own leadership. All kinds of stuff like that can happen. But I want to make this final point. I think that we are inspired by seeing ourselves out there unafraid to defend ourselves. And that is the most exciting piece of America 2020 for black folks. But if we know our history, I come from a history where we were armed always. There wasn't like this theatrical display of being armed. In the South, where some of the biggest strides for black liberation were made, people were organizing political activities and doing things, and they just were armed. As a matter of course, to the point where it wasn't even a discussion. It was just assumed that you had a cabinet in your living room, and everybody knew it was in that cabinet. And if somebody came on your porch who wasn't supposed to be there, they got welcomed. And we need to instead of the theatrical, I'm strapped with 25 ARs. Have your weapons, have your ARs, have your pistols, have what you need to defend yourself. But it is not the center of what we're doing. People should understand that when you come to an action, even if you don't see something, we about that business. And if it becomes just a regular part of who we are instead of theatrics, instead of, we all got to wear black. I'm not against that. It's a display. I'm not against that. But it has to become us being armed, self-defended, and protecting ourselves when we're carrying out activities has to become a regular part of what we are, or it is just theatrics. And people look at it and aren't necessarily going to join it en masse. But people, you see what I'm saying? There's a difference. And what I worry about is that the difference will get lost. And then anybody who stands up and puts up a weapon with a watered down message gets an eye, gets our ear. And so I just say caution, y'all. Caution. If NFAC came here and had a display here, I would have to seriously think about it. What I would do in relation to it personally. I would seriously have to think, what are their demands? What are they calling for? What do they expect of me and mine? And again, you come in, you do your little display, and then you're gone. So what happens to the people who do come out once everything is gone? That's a separate question, but it just really it's really a dangerous moment for us. Not because of the guns. I'm not scared of people walking around with guns. What's scary is when in a moment where what we want is to see ourselves armed and protected, then we go for anything that anybody says who steps into that void. And that's where we got to be careful, brother. So I'll just leave it on that.
Great flows, Brian. I appreciate you calling this morning, man.
Hey, no doubt, man. And respect to anybody who came out there with the real intention of protecting ourselves and inspiring others to lose their fear.
Absolutely. I appreciate the flows, man. That's one reason why I love doing talk radio and love talking with the people. There's all kind of different opinions. And, if you don't know Brian Taylor, what I would say is he comes, in my opinion, I give a brother a level of respect because I've actually seen him do it, not heard about it. I've seen it with my own two eyes, and that's what really matters. But what do you think? 513, Brian says, listen, I love the displays. It's something that we want right now, right? People take strength from it because they feel like they don't have to be afraid. But let's pump the brakes when it comes. Let's wait and see. Let's not start giving this group and this brother all this praise because let's just kind of see. And then he kind of broke down what he heard in that clip that I played earlier. A lot of me, I. Some would say the real leaders talking we and us. I picked up on it too. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very interesting, but I want to get your thoughts about it. What do you think? 513-873-7134. What do you think? Do we need more displays of black power like we saw over the weekend? Black folks organizing with guns. A formation, we got that from an earlier caller. Not a protest, a formation. But again, when black folks show organization, that's powerful enough in and of itself. When you add the element of a firearm in this country, it takes it to another level. Something to think about. What do you think? Something to think about. Let's go to the phone.
And my opinion on the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition, which, like Brian just said and your previous caller said, it is a coalition. It is not actually an organization. So shout out to Grandmaster Jay, also known as John Fitzgerald, former candidate for president in 2016. Shout out to his efforts for getting all those people together, but I'm pretty sure you did your research, Mr. Ivy. He had a video that he put out leading up to getting all these different groups together to form up and march in Louisville. And it was unfortunate that they had the accidental discharge, but the fact that he was able, I'm talking about Jonathan Fitzgerald, that he was able to get this coalition together, and the fact that people are willing to show that they are totally against the Democrat Party and their stance on American citizens exercising their Second Amendment rights. Because, Mr. Ivy, when you look at what happened in Louisville with NFAC, you see what's happening in the streets of Portland when the sun goes down. You see what's starting to happen again in Seattle when the sun goes down. And people protesting in the street when the sun is up. All those images you see on TV, when you can find them, are all Democrat. There are no images of Republicans in the street. You really can't even find any so-called counter-protest. So when the American people see these images and they see these mayors who are none but thirsty, it's just getting pathetic with these mayors running on all these TV shows trying to get, trying to get their next position in Congress or something. And when these citizens see these images, they start to get nervous, Mr. Ivy. And we're still a few months away from the election.
99 days.
I really think the Democrat Party is starting to worry because it's showing in the internal polling that the enthusiasm gap is wide between Republicans and Democrats. The voter registration increases on the Republican side and decreases on the Democrat side. But right now, the Democrat Party, unfortunately, they have no leadership, Mr. Ivy. There's no one voice speaking for all those people in the street. So it leaves an opening, like Brian was saying, it leaves an opening for a highly articulate, intelligent black man like Grandmaster Jay to get the forefront and put his agenda out there. But we have an election coming up. There's no Joe Biden. He's supposed to be the next man to lead this country. Again, Mr. Ivy, it's just my observation, and I agree with Brian 100%. When these black organizations emerge publicly like this, it kind of discourages some black people from taking up arms and exercising their Second Amendment rights because they see what happened with the accidental discharge and they like, oh, I ain't joining up with no group like that. They don't even know what they doing. I show up, I might get shot. They walking around with live rounds in their weapon, no safety on, don't even know how to clear their weapons. So again, it was great to see all those black people together exercising their Second Amendment rights And again, Mr. Ivy, when people see those images, they think Democrat, not Republican. So the Democrat Party, they better get their act together, because supposedly Joe Biden will pick his vice president next week. And that's going to be a whole nother issue right there, which I'm pretty sure you'll be talking about. But that's my take on NFAC. And let's see what their next move is. Because Brian was 100% correct, Mr. Ivy. When you get one man who feels that he has the power to control that many individuals, we all know what happens, Mr. Ivy, when some people get power. They get drunk, they get toe up, and they don't know how to act. So that's all I got, Mr. Ivy. How was your weekend, sir?
I had a great weekend, man. How about yourself?
Oh, it was good. It was good. That's all I got, sir.
That's all I need, man.
And keep doing what you're doing, sir. And I'm telling you, Mr. Ivy, I see your future, sir. It is getting very, very, very bright. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. That's Brother Drop from California. Appreciate the kind words. And of course, he's always going to spin it into a Democrat versus Republican thing. He's picked up on some of those Trump talking points, and everything's about Democrat cities, and that's Democrat cities, but red states, red counties in some cases. But that's what Drop does. Okay. Hey, good morning, caller. Please stay on the line for me. I got to take a quick break, and then we'll come right back. I'll put you straight on, or you can call me right back and I'll put you straight on. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Business Report. I'm Elisa Parenti. While pharmaceutical companies are racing to come up with a vaccine for the coronavirus, some businesses are focused on gene therapy. They're tackling sickle cell disease. Dow Jones reports CRISPR Therapeutics, Vertex Pharma, Bluebird Bio, and others are pushing for a treatment to be introduced by 2022. Under legislation being considered in Congress, a new panel would be formed to study systemic issues impacting black men within the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Bloomberg government reports that panel would recommend policy changes. Difficult days are still in store for the nation's renters. A survey by Apartment List finds 1/3 of U.S. renters failed to make their full July payment. Unless Congress extends supplemental unemployment benefits, analysts say, eviction notices could surge. One industry group says as many as 12 million renters could be evicted over the next 4 months. And that's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Elisa Parenti.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. The Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher. Be my teacher. Think you can change my life? Make me excited about science like you? Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I'm waiting.
This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Get ready to be listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
All right, good morning, family. Quick break, and I'm with you to the top of the hour. Now listen, it looks as if the stream got interrupted and it started again on Facebook, so please find us. I will edit it together for later. Good morning to you. We've been talking about numerous things, including the FNAC. Do you believe that these kind of displays are good for the movement? And by movement, I mean the movement for black people to get equity policy in their respective cities. Of course, nationally, we want it, but in respective locales across the country. They were in Louisville. They showed up in Louisville in a formation, not a protest, but a formation to show their support for justice for Breonna Taylor. As I understand it, still no justice for that sister. Of course, she was the professional black woman. By all accounts, it looks like she was an upstanding citizen in her home, and she was the victim of a no-knock warrant. And for me, it means that there should be a challenge on the legitimacy of no-knock warrants throughout the country. Real quick, my opinion is these kind of displays will only be effective if the people in those particular cities leverage it. That's it. If the people don't leverage it, it don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? FNAC will come and leave. That's it. If the people don't turn into something where in Louisville and Cincinnati and beyond, it means nothing. But what do you think? I've got Kev on the cell on the phone right now. Hey, good morning, Kev. Thank you for holding.
No problem, man. I enjoy the fact that when I listen to your show, I don't feel like I'm not on, whatever you want to call it, traditional or terrestrial radio, right?
Yeah.
So
corporate
it's
radio.
always good. Yeah, let's call it that. That's a good word for it. Corporate radio. First off, to drop, we can hear the fear in your voice, man. And the guy that's drunk with power is already in the White House, so we already know that, man. You knew that when you said it. You can't be drunk. I know that Glenn's gonna come in and say something similar, but it just had to be said early so that we don't, pretend like he didn't say something that was just kind of silly. If you give a guy a bunch of power, it's gonna go to their head. That's true. That's very true.
That's very true. We see it every single day.
Every day, man. I am so impressed with the new. I'm so impressed with the new administration, man. I don't know if you watched the Sunday Funnies, but I did, and it was hilarious. Everybody pivoted on a dime. I was like, wow. You got every secretary to go from, well, we don't need these masks. It's not really that important. We don't have to do that. To, we understand that masks work and that if we just wear, come on, man, Nathan, that neck should be broken and spinning so quickly. That's ridiculous. That's why I call him DJ Trump, man. Spinning the wackest hits. I cannot take much more of this. It's less than 100. Say it with me, man. Less than 100 days to prayerfully see change in the United States, because this doesn't make any sense. The people who are saying that they support this lunacy don't make any sense. The fact that people are still trying to talk about whether or not folks are excited doesn't make. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I heard over the weekend that we are now looking at potentially that 240 number that the president was talking about at one time. And then they asked, a couple of his pundits, is he planning on upping the number of foreseeable deaths? And the person could not answer.
That is frightening. That's a frightening place to be. When you're talking about 240,000 people dying and you can't say, no, it ain't going to be more than that, that's pretty scary. So, I don't know, man. Like, I had to vent, and your boy set me off. I know he knows that he does it, and I'm sure he's somewhere, giggling while he's walking or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't take away from the severity and actually the seriousness of the situation, man. And my daughter went to go see my mom and dad over the weekend, man, and because they want to keep her.
You sound pretty low, Kev.
Sorry, I'm speaking low. Okay. My daughter went to go see my parents over the weekend, and because they want to make sure that they keep my parents safe. My daughter couldn't go give my mom and dad a hug, man. That's some bull. We could have waited an extra month or two, about 3 months ago, right? And done it the right way. And right now she probably could get that hug. But no, instead we got 146,000 and climbing dead, potentially above 240 apparently. I hope that's not true, but And the people have finally decided that what folks told them 5 months ago, who were scientists and knew what they had. I'm not gonna cuss. I'm not gonna. It's even almost 10, but I'm still not gonna cuss because this baby's listening. What they told them 6 months ago, they could not listen then, and now all of a sudden, they are the people that are like, "Oh my God, we figured it out." Give me a break, man. Yes, there's folks that are drunk with power. Drop, you hanging with the wrong clique, man. Come on over to the good side. We'll invite you over. You can even sit down and have a beer in the beer garden or whatever. That's all I got.
At the beer garden? The beer summit?
Beer garden.
That went over real good. Remember Obama? He was trying to soften out race relations. Remember that? That seems like a long time ago.
Hey, Nathan, on every station across the nation. Be blessed, bro. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. And thanks for the correction. Was that Daryl? You're right. Arkansas, not Arizona. I was inaccurate when I said that. Thank you, Daryl, from earlier. I was talking about Tom Cotton, a senator from Arkansas, who he made the comment and believed the comment, but he tried to call it fake news. The strong implication that he believed that slavery was a necessary evil. And then when he got called out on it, he said, "Oh, this is fake news." He went on Fox, which is really the fake news, especially when you get beyond their news segment during the day. And he said, "Oh, no, I didn't say that. What I said is that that's what the framers of the Constitution said, the founding fathers. They said that." Yeah, way to go, Tom. Yeah, you're still legitimizing a ridiculous idea. But again, it's okay. Like I said, that's how a lot of people are. It's like, oh, slavery. Yeah, we needed that to be better people. It's like, George Floyd. Yeah, it's bad, but it'll lead to police reform. So that's good. Like I said, it's always great when somebody else is carrying the burden or dealing with the consequences. All good. Great flows this morning. Appreciate it. Let me see here. Jason's in the house. He writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Jason. I think we talked earlier. Appreciate you. Terrence writes, Forte writes facts. Absolutely. So we know more information about the upcoming tactical training. And there's a couple things I want to share with you. So it'll be the first Saturday in September. That is the 5th, the 5th of September. The cost will be $100, which is a reduced cost, special for the choppers. As much as possible, we want you to get your own rounds. But Brother Forte is working to get those, and you can purchase them from him. As he has told us that rounds, the actual ammunition, are at a high premium right now because everybody's so damn afraid, COVID-19 and protests in the streets. So they're gobbling up all of the ammunition. So if you have about 200 rounds of ammunition is what you'll need to join us. Again, it's September the 5th. And this week, I'm going to circulate information so I can start to get you in and reserve your spot. I will be asking for you to reserve a small amount of that overall fee just to make sure that you hold your place and we don't waste our time. We don't want to waste those brothers' time as well. And we'll be out in a rural area. I'll give you the directions. and everything you'll need to see if it's something you're interested in. You can join us and be a part of our first tactical class. To kick it off, this is a class that's exclusively for, this group, for the choppers and whoever might be listening. Maybe you don't feel like you're a chopper at all, but you still want to be a part of it. Great. You feel free and welcome to. If we don't hit a certain number, he may open it up to other individuals just to make sure they maximize their time and expenses involved with it. I will be there and be a part of the class as well. I'm going through everything with you. We're going to do it all together, family. And we're doing this for self-defense, moving beyond just a CCW. Okay. And I know there's some folks out there that still want to get their CCW. I'll try to work with Brother Forte to see if we can, maybe combine a class with one of his existing classes, because I was told over the weekend that there's people that want to get their CCW. The last time we did it just didn't work out for their time frame. We did that last year. And so we want to make sure that we maximize our time and we maximize the space as much as possible. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to learning more with those brothers and with you. We can do it all together in a very safe, controlled environment. And again, it's September the 5th, and the cost will be $100, which is a reduced price in what they normally are actually charging folks. Forte is a chopper. He wants to make sure that, he gives the choppers a break and a special price. I appreciate that, Brother Forte. So I want to put that information out to you and look for, it'll be circulating. I'll circulate it during the show. So I'll add it to the stream and you'll know exactly, where to go if you're interested. And we do have a magical number in terms of people we're looking for. So it can just be us. I don't think we'll have a problem with that. This is plenty of time. We've been talking about it for about 7 weeks now. So if you're interested, you can join us. I'd love to have you. Love to meet you for the first time. Love to get out there and experience it with you. We can do it together and we can learn and grow and learn how to protect ourselves and our families. Absolutely. We have to fight. I appreciate it. We have to fight to take away qualified immunity. She's right. And there are efforts that I know of in the state of Ohio where people are trying to do just that and around the country. And I support those efforts 100%. The Mexican Americans in Colorado said no more. Charles writes, they think all blacks are self-loathing like Kanye West. He has no problem wearing that flag. Yeah, didn't he have like some little fashion statements he was doing years ago? We do need more expressions of black power, but you can infiltrate an org that is top down, and they are 100% top down, meaning that they got a centralized, as I understand it, a centralized leader, and he or she gives the orders and the directives and everything else. People follow through it. Kiki's in the house. She writes, talking to Brother Forte. C. Smith is out. She says, got to go, but have a blessed day. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for the shares. For all the people that shares, I'm going to start doing something special for the people that share the show. It just means so much to this particular show in terms of being on social media. I got something special for you this week, as a matter of fact. Don't make sure you check out the show tomorrow. I got you. Tracy's in the house. She writes, that's crazy. How many times do the Army, Navy, Marines, people shoot themselves or have mistakes that we never hear about? Them men well-trained and disciplined and don't follow U.S. military, period. Kudos, respect, courage. Thank you. Yeah, again, the first thing I thought was, FNAC has been infiltrated. They probably have already been infiltrated. These things move very, very fast. Right. And if somebody was accidentally discharging their weapon during the formation to make those brothers look bad, that's what the first thing I thought. I'm just being honest with you. Let me jump back inside the chop shop, see what's going on. Good morning to you. Sharp's in the house. Good flows this morning. Good morning to you. Clue Magic writes, the Republicans are the agent provocateurs drop. Absolutely. Mason Marler writes, the feds are the counter protesters. Right. The feds, who are actually secret police, and it's been reported that they are, you remember Blackwater? Remember Blackwater going back to Iraq? Remember all the trouble that Blackwater caused? They got some American troops killed because they were basically private police. Does anybody remember who owns Blackwater? You remember that? And what the connection is to the Trump administration? I might spend some time talking about that tomorrow because we're at the end of the show now. But, I'm just saying, you got these secret security companies. Now, Blackwater changed their name because they had so much heat. Anybody remember? Think about that. there is a connection to the Trump administration, a very relevant connection to the Trump administration right now. A family member in a very, very powerful position inside the Trump administration that we talk about from time to time. I'll tease it like that because I don't have a lot of time to get all into it, so I'll leave it like that. Oliver writes, some people argue about Grandmaster Jay's language. I, as a former military operator, can relate. His use of that language displayed his and other people's anger. It gets those who won't listen to no black males speaking in civil tones attention, period. The show of force or organization has always scared people. They now worry about, okay, how much bigger is the NFAC and what if factors come into play in the mind? Every coworker on my job, white, has had a different attitude this morning and last night. I've been getting asked, so what do you think about the NFAC in Louisville? I told them I loved it because we are tired and enough is enough. White people always like back the blue. Now, like Louisville needs to fire the cops. The mayor needs to resign. Systematic racism hit home in a different way when the rabbit has the gun. Rachel writes, do we ask white people why they kill white people? There are more likely to kill people who you are around the most. Crime is freaking crime. I agree completely. That whole what about black on black crime? There's a meme out there. It's like Ice Cube. And it starts when you're asked, what about black? And it gets cut off. And then Ice Cube reads, or the statement reads, get the F out of here. That's how I feel about it. I don't want, if you really care about black on black crime, then what are you doing in these neighborhoods that are crime ridden? It's less about race. It's the underlying and deleterious factors that help to create those circumstances that make people, get caught up in the things that manifest itself in violence, like no hope and a lot of dope. So if you really care about it, go do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. I put out an invitation for Dusty Rhodes to come on. He's the auditor right now, right? White male auditor that took the whole time to talk about Black Lives Matter and abortion clinics. I would love to talk to Dusty Rhodes on this show. Love to. But we'll see what happens. Let me see. Kiki writes, the brother on the line is very correct. We had a lot of brothers on the line that was correct today. We're just kind of going back. Listen, I really appreciate you this morning. Thank you for being here. I got to make a move. All right. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. And we'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure from the Cincinnati perspective. All right. Thank you so much for your support this morning. Please share today's show. Your likes and your shares mean everything. Shout out to Team NI. Shout out to my Patreons. Shout out to the Choppers. Have a blessed morning and a powerful week. And we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.